Well, hi there, food friends. Welcome to Cavalcade of Food. I'm Kevin.
Hey there, and I'm Ralph. I'm behind the camera.
And a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, season's greetings and all that good stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
It's my favorite holiday, actually.
It is your favorite holiday, and we love it because it is all about family and food and friends, and no one has to worry about buying gifts and all that
stress and pressure. It's
That's
a little
right.
more relaxed. It's a little more about love and gathering and all the wonderful things that come with food, family, and friends. And I like that the weekend just seems to keep on going. It's like Wednesday is really Friday, or feels like a Friday, and then Thursday, which is Thanksgiving, feels like a Saturday. And then when Saturday really gets here, it's like, wow, there's still more.
It keeps going. We're making a dressing today. And this is one, Ralph, actually, that you saw a recipe for.
Well, I've heard about it for a while.
Yeah, and you said, how come we don't ever do this?
It's a very Midwestern thing.
So, this is a White Castle slider dressing. Are you ready?
I am ready.
So, I got 2 sacks of White Castle burgers.
These are those little ones that, if you're not from the Midwest, you may not be familiar with them. But you can buy them.
Aren't they cute?
Sometimes in the frozen departments of other
stores. Or, you know what, if you live in other parts of the country, you may have a little White Tower, White something kind
similar
of place that sells we call these sliders. Now, when I ordered them, Ralph, I ordered them without the pickle and without much. So these are just plain, the beef patty and the onions on the bread. And I think...
Apparently it's a thing, this White Castle stuffing, because the lady at the counter, you said she asked you if that's what you were making when you ordered them without pickles.
When I ordered 20 of these without pickles, she looked at me, she said, "Are you making dressing?"
But
I'm like, yeah.
But it only takes 12, I think.
Well,
we got extras for appetizers. Are you eating a cold one?
No, these are still hot.
You warmed them up.
All right.
They definitely have a distinct flavor, very oniony, and that's why they hopefully make a good turkey dressing.
We're going to use 12 or 14 in the actual recipe. But first things first. All right. I've got a couple of cups of celery here that are
going to be sauteed
in butter.
Softened up on your new stove?
Yes. So, my
new old stove.
This is from what I can tell, we think a 1963 Westinghouse terrace top.
I love that little.
Yeah, it's kind of a split level stove. It's really nice, and it almost looks like it's built right into the cabinet. So we got our celery. So we're gonna get these softened up. Okay.
So that's just softening in butter.
Right. Now, normally when we'd be making dressing, I would saute the celery and the onion together, but we don't have any onion because all the onions are in the sliders, are in the burgers.
Right, gotcha.
Those of you who know White Castle know they're very oniony little burgers.
Yeah.
They actually grill the meat on top of a bed of onions.
Oh, they actually use meat? I'm just kidding.
Whatever this is, 100% beef, it says,
really?
right here.
Okay.
So, all right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna let me salt and pepper the celery a little bit.
That'll give it a nice crunch, and then you're gonna add some nice traditional dressing or stuffing flavors like thyme and sage.
Look at this. This is the last of what's growing outside because it's been very cold. So I've got a little thyme left and a couple of sprigs of sage. I'll get that ready.
Right.
We're gonna put in. I've got some homemade turkey stock.
Ooh,
okay, perfect. From when I made the turkey. I've got some fresh parsley, a couple of eggs, and of course our sliders. So this is dressing coming together. A little bit different this year. We're using our White Castle sliders as the base of our Thanksgiving dressing. All right, I'm going to take the celery. See how it's gotten a little brown, but the main thing is it's still got some body, but it's softened. Okay, so we're just going to put the put that over there.
So if you didn't saute it, it would have almost too much crunch.
It would be too crunchy.
Because it is going in the oven.
Yes, and it's going to bake, and the oven's preheated to 350 degrees. By the way, here's our fresh herbs, Ralph. And what I've got is our thyme, and I wanted to just show, and it's hard to do. So yesterday I was slicing a ham, but what I didn't realize is that the ham that was really getting sliced was this ham.
Was you.
Okay, and so I got this big bandage on, but for thyme, the best way to get these little tiny leaves off is to just hold the one end of the stem.
And pull away from it.
Pull it, yes, pull it back like that. Look at that, and it comes out nice and clean.
Try not to get any of your blood ketchup on them.
No, it's not. I made sure. And anyways, so there is our fresh thyme, and then I'm gonna just give it a little mince, and then the sage leaves. I don't have that many, but I'm gonna chop those up, and we'll put some in. Now, if you don't have, we're just using up the last of our herbs here.
We're fortunate enough to have some fresh ones, but if you don't, you can use the dry herbs.
No worry. You could even, season how you like it. Some people put in poultry seasoning, which is kind of a mix of many different herbs. Okay, so there's the herbs. But I've got, as a backup, I've got some dried thyme here, and I've got some dried sage, which I might put in a little of the sage. Okay, we're going to put this thing together. So, I've got 12 sliders here
with the buns, the onions, and the hamburger. Pickles, no pickles, ketchup, no mustard. And now you're just tearing them up.
I'm just tearing it up.
That really kind of mimics what you would do with a stuffing, which has bread and seasonings and.
Exactly.
But this has the nice soft bun from the White Castle slider hamburger.
Yeah, because you know what they do is when they cook their burgers, they actually put the bun on top of the cooking meat, which is on top of the onions, and it all gets steamed together. So I'm really just tearing this into 4 or 5 pieces, each little slider. And again, you see, it's got everything. It's got the onions. Normally, when we make our dressing, we do a cornbread, and I know a lot of people have seen the cornbread dressing that we did. So, and it doesn't have any kind of meat in it, and some people put in sausage, and some people put in all kinds of things in their dressing, which is wonderful. Dressing is a very versatile kind of a dish, but all right, so I'm gonna finish here with these.
So if you wanted them smaller, depending on how you like your dressing, you could cut them up and tear them up into smaller pieces.
Yeah.
But we're getting close here. And
plus, it's all going to kind of cook together.
In a casserole dish or something?
Yeah. So okay. I'm going to put in like a 9 by 13 little baking dish. Okay, so there's our dozen sliders all mixed. Now,
was it fun tearing them up?
Yes, it was. It felt good. All right, now what we're going to do is I got 2 eggs here. I'm just going to I like to put eggs in my dressing. Not everybody does, but I think it helps kind of bind things together. So we're going to put in a couple of eggs.
2 beaten eggs that were at room temp, I'm betting.
They were at room temp. We're going to put in, let me grab our celery. We get all the celery and any of the melted butter still in the pan. Let that all drip in. Okay.
Once again, you seasoned the celery with just a little S&P?
Yep. I'm going to put in our fresh spices here. Thyme and sage. I've got some chopped parsley. I'm going to put in maybe... Not too much, but maybe half a cup or so. All right. Now... I'm going to put in a little bit more of the sage because and your dried herbs actually are stronger than your fresh herbs, and I like dressing that has a real sagey kind of flavor.
Yeah, I can see.
It should.
All right. No, I do too. That's good. Okay.
Now of course we have to. Let me get a spatula. We want to bring this all together with some broth.
So you could use your hands or a spatula.
I'm going to put in, I got 3 cups of broth here. I'm not going to need it all.
I love that you're using real turkey broth right from the turkey that you roasted for the holiday.
I'm going to start with about 1.5 cups of
See where that
broth.
takes you.
You know what? You could use chicken broth in the can if that's what you had on hand.
That would go good with the poultry seasoning
you
if
know,
you used it.
we do a make-ahead turkey here on Thanksgiving, and so what I do then is I take all the leftover bones and I put it in a big pot with onions, and of course there's still a lot of meat on the turkey bones, and I just cook it for a couple hours, and that gives me this wonderful, delicious broth.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So, how's that?
Looks good.
Okay, it's all mixed in. I want to make sure that egg mixture gets in there.
That's why I was saying, some people use their hands. I know my mom used to just get right in there with both hands and mix it up good, and you know that everything's getting integrated.
And I am going to put in a little black pepper.
So coarse ground black pepper.
Mm-hmm. And I think just to be on the safe side, there's a little bit of salt in the broth, but I'm going to put in just another little pinch, maybe half a teaspoon of salt, just to make sure it's seasoned.
Very good. So the sun's coming out. We're expecting a nice gathering for today, and we've got our White Castle stuffing dressing
ready to go. I'm going to grab a casserole pan, and then we'll put this in and get it in the oven. Be right back.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
Okay, quick spray. I got a 2-quart casserole. All right. So we're going to take this, and in she goes. Look at that. I was going to put it in a 9x13, but that would have been too big. This is just perfect. 2-quart casserole. Okay.
So if you did use the 14 that you were thinking originally, they might have fit in there, but then you would have had to increase some of the other seasonings.
So I think this will be just fine. We're going to put it in, let's say 45 minutes at 350 degrees, and then we'll try our White Castle slider dressing for Thanksgiving Day. Okay, Ralph, 45 minutes have passed.
I'm really anxious to see how this comes out.
Here we put it up here.
Yeah, it does smell good. It smells pretty traditional so far.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
It's beautiful. Doesn't that look nice?
It does.
And, well, we like pretty things. No doubt about that.
And
at the end of the day, it's got to deliver.
Yes, we need to give it the double taste test. I was going to say,
but it does look beautiful.
We do like pretty things, but also we like a good bargain, and those sliders are pretty inexpensive.
It's going to be really hot.
Maybe you should put it in the freezer for a second. Did you get a good piece that has a little bit of everything on it?
It's got a little celery. It's got a little piece of meat. Looks like it's got some of the herbs.
Blow on it. What do you think? Is it burning your mouth?
It's hot.
Can you get the flavor?
It's having that extra texture of the meat. Very traditional, really, in the way it tastes. I'm getting the sage, I'm getting the onion, the celery, but then you have the little surprise little piece of slider coming through. Wow, it's really good. Now, you could have also stuffed this inside a bird and done it that way.
Right, and then that would be called stuffing.
Right, but that's really hot, Ralph, so just...
Well, I just wanted to hold it out while you talked so it could cool off.
So, anyways, you know what? If you're a White Castle fan, like we are, or you just want to do something different, and in a lot of ways, how easy was this to put together?
And what's the operative word? Fun. These are fun little burgers.
This is a fun dressing.
Yeah. People will get a kick out of it. You tell me.
And when the gang comes over later,
hopefully they'll get a kick out of it.
And
some people we told about it, they were like, no thanks.
But I think to look at this on the buffet, they're going to say, "Hey, that looks beautiful." And but what do you think? I see you. Isn't that good?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It is almost more. I mean, if you didn't tell anybody and did a blind taste test, they might get the texture and say, "What's that meat-like substance in there?"
Yeah,
but,
because I've had little dressings that had like a pork sausage.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of, a
right?
Pork sausage dressing. But it's not overwhelmingly White Castle-y. It's really more traditional. You're getting a lot of the full flavors of
with the turkey broth and the herbs and the celery and the onion. Yeah,
very good,
wonderful. Well, dressing is done. Check off the list. So you know what? We had a great time putting this one together. Hope you had a great time being with us.
I did.
All the best to you and yours for our holiday season. We'll see you again real soon. Thanks for being a part of this one. And I guess we'll see you next time here on Cavalcade of Food. Bye.
Bye now.